watching Rogers TV.
Next on the show, we have addiction counselor Dean Anderson. He is here to talk to us about how we can have conversations around substance use with those we love. Welcome to the show, Dean. It's so great to have you here today with us.
Thank you for having me here. It's always nice to see you, Jenna.
We are talking today about having those somewhat sensitive and challenging conversations with those in our life who may have challenges with substance use. We're hoping that you can share some tips to kind of get that conversation going or how to handle those conversations when they come up.
The first thing is making sure that you have the right person, the right place, and the right time. Right person, I mean the right person having the conversation. Sometimes the person that's closest to us is not the best person because that person can stir up emotions and get us going, and sometimes that's not the person. So deciding as a family or as a group who might be the right person to have that conversation, and the right place and right time. We don't want to have it when they're intoxicated. We don't want to wake them up from a hangover in bed and yell at them and do that sort of thing. So we want to make sure that they're in a calm state and in a place where it feels safe and they're okay to do that and have those conversations. So the right place, the right time, right person. Second tip is just being kind and understanding that when people are in substance use, it's normally for them trying to treat something, an underlying condition, something they feel shameful, they have remorse and guilt. What I found is a lot of people think that being mean or rude will cause pain, and that pain will then encourage change. And the reality of it is it usually doesn't happen. It usually reinforces the shame and sends people deeper in. They already know what they've done wrong. They don't need a refresher of the things that they've done wrong. It's usually that cycle of shame and the remorse and guilt that they get from their substance use that reoccurs that and has them drinking again or using again to kind of subside that pain. So being kind and just being patient with that person can make all the difference day and night. Number 3 is listening. You're an expert at this, Jenna, as you smile and nod at me as I speak. Listening, people think that we listen, and a lot of the times we're just hearing, and we're listening to respond instead of listening to comprehend. After listening, then the 4th tip is to do it the way they want to do it. Everyone's heard that they have to want to change, right? And it's not that it is difficult to have them change that, to have that desire to change. It's about them being able to come up with it on their own and to come to that conclusion on their own. So professionals, this is where counselors and therapists come in, coaches as well, because they can take that dialogue and help that person to see what they're saying and what they're feeling and what those emotions are. And then they can kind of come up with their own plan, their own desire and drive and goals, and they can see them on their own. And then when they come up with those things on their own, then they're 10 times more likely to do what they're going to do or follow through with it when it's mine. I have ownership and I have a desire and I have a drive to move forward from that conversation. So doing it, step number 4 is doing it their way, trying to help them figure out what works for them. They know what they've tried, they know what they like, they know what they don't like. If you push them in a direction of something that they don't like, they're going to subconsciously or even consciously sabotage it and then say, see, I told you it didn't work. I'm guilty of doing it myself, right? Number 5 is supporting the person. So doing your best to support them. And there's this really fine line where people can't find where enabling and supporting cross over, and that's really difficult for a lot of people. So reaching out and finding support for yourself to make sure that you're not enabling and knowing where the difference is. But in that, them finding their own way, the support that you want to give is supporting them in that way and in that journey and what they're doing. So they say, I want to quit drinking. We're not going to lock them up and force them to do something, or say, I'm going to stop. I'm not going to, go to the bar on the way home. A good way to support them would be something along the lines of saying, that's great. You know what? I'll have an activity ready for us. We'll be ready to cook dinner when you get home. That's a great way to support you. I'm not going to go pick you up at work and handcuff you and drag you home. I'm going to let you be an adult and find your own way and do your own thing, but I'm going to be here to show you that support and show you that kindness and that love and all that stuff on the way, on the journey, and support them in their own decisions. If that fails, which it could, and a lot of the times that's what makes addiction so hard, is because it does fail. right? Relapse, if you don't have failures, then you would never know you had a problem. Because if I could just quit just right off the hop, it wouldn't be a problem. There would be no concern, nothing, right? So those failures are going to happen. So these steps have to kind of be repeated. So you go back to saying, okay, that didn't work. What do you want to try now? What's the next thing? And then supporting them again in that journey and staying consistent in that process and just saying, I'm just going to keep doing this and supporting you in this journey. Once again, not enabling, not carrying the load for them or doing the work for them, but it's those failures that are going to help them see what it is that's not working, and or looking at the next steps, or if it means more professional support or residential treatment or withdrawal management or additional counseling or medical assistance, whatever that looks like. And then number 6, the most important one, is try to show them some unconditional love and be consistent with it. I mean, kindness is one thing in your actions, but unconditional love is just that I care for you. I don't like the disease. I hate the addiction. I'm not a big fan of the drugs and alcohol, but the person that's underneath that needs the healing, the person underneath that I know is there that wants to come out, and the person that I can see or I already know and come to love, I love that person. And I'm going to continuously love that person and show that person love, because no matter what direction they go or how hard they go or how deep they go, I can help and I'll be there when you're ready to come out. And it just leaves that door open a crack. When I say, I don't love you anymore because you're an addict or an alcoholic or a person with an addiction, you're shutting that door on the person to say, okay, now there's one more thing that I don't have a resource to go look for. And then that rock bottom gets lower and lower and lower. And that's what we see in the streets with a lot of people with overdose. They just keep going and going and going, and that gets worse. So that unconditional love is just that, I'm just going to leave this door open over here for you. I'm not going to let you overrun me, but I'm going to leave this door over here. I'm going to set healthy boundaries and have it here and tell you I love you as much as I can. And that's it.
That's it. That's an incredible, lineup of tips, I think, that are, could even be extended just to humans and others in general. I want to thank you, Dean. I think we should probably have you back at some point to help us even with identifying substance use challenges or in ourselves or in others. But I want to thank you for all the important work that you're doing and continue to do, and wish you all the best of luck.
Thank you, Jenna.